Alright guys, oh no, I'm stuck in the chair. Okay. We're gonna start with our two Kahoots. So let's get everybody joined in. Yes, we're ready to join. Okay. The Kahoots are gonna be over similes and metaphors.
I'm about to sing this.
Thank you.
Dang.
Good morning. We're doing Kahoots.
I like your water. I didn't have a water bottle today, so I have this. That's smarter.
I got it. Jacqueline, you.
I'm already out.
Somebody was in feel it. It was hungry. It was a salty catfish.
That's smart.
No,
With
no
the water?
Yes.
Yeah. You gotta keep hydrated for practice.
Actually, I'm about to see if I can borrow some.
Like tired.
Does Keisha spell her name K-E-S-H-A?
It's Lakeisha. L-A-K-E-S-H-A. But yeah, she was like Keisha.
What's the pin number?
K-E-S-H-A.
162-1233.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really hard training session this morning, and I was like, I
Was it okay? It's too early?
feel like I need to go with like 4 bowls of pasta.
What time do you get up?
5:30. Oh no,
Must have been a fast
5.
training session then. Okay.
I get up at 5 to train at 5:30.
I was going to say that. Turn around.
It's not so bad when I'm with the littles, because I get to the gym at 6, and it's great.
Yeah.
That half an hour makes a big difference.
I went and looked at a tux last night.
Oh,
For prom?
Yeah.
That's
I'm going to
exciting.
prom.
It's the one that I turned out. It turned out as $200.
Wow. Just to rent?
Right, but wait.
That's a lot. That's like double what it was when I went to prom.
But it's,
Thank you.
I got it in
I got you
Manhattan
signed
College.
it.
But you got what?
Got it in Manhattan College.
Okay.
You can't go.
Red and blue?
All right, everybody's in.
Yeah, the tux is,
That's gonna be sharp.
is blue, and then like the undershirt's white,
Uh-huh.
and then the tie and the pocket thing.
All right,
is the red.
guys. Similes and metaphors compare 2 things, true or false.
So, man.
Compare 2 things.
No. Yeah.
It won't let me pick.
Terrence, do you want to scoot up here?
Ah.
Or pick
Yeah, I had trouble with mine
I
too.
picked the right one.
I picked the one. Yeah, similes and metaphors are figurative language that compare 2 things.
Yeah.
Similes use the word like and as to compare 2 things, 2 different items. True or false? Similes use like and as.
What does it? Similarly, use the word like and as compare.
Terrence, do you want to scoot up here?
Nah, I got it. I can see.
Are you sure?
I mean,
Okay.
got it right.
Yeah, good job, you guys. I'm in 3rd place.
Oh, that's right.
Metaphors also use like and as to compare 2 things. True or false?
Blue is false.
Yes.
I think you should move up there so you can.
Not good.
Dude, you obviously can't see.
Yeah, great job, you guys. Everyone got it.
Alright, I'm stuck. I'm tired of being in 4th place.
Hold on, wait. Cute as a button is a simile or metaphor.
No.
Wait.
No,
Cute
no.
as a button.
No.
Let's get it.
What?
Every time I
think
I gotta
go,
So it says cute
Let me
as
get
a button. That word as shows us that it's a simile.
You lie. You said shit.
How am I tied? How could you be tied with somebody?
Look, 3rd place.
As tall as the Eiffel Tower is a metaphor or simile.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's a simile. It uses that word as.
Let's get it.
I'm in 2nd place.
Eyes like a hawk is a simile or metaphor. Look. Eyes like a hawk is
I'm in 2nd
a
place.
simile.
I'm in 2nd
Good
place.
job.
second place.
You're locked T.
That's because I got that.
He's
one
a
wrong.
strong bull is a
Okay.
metaphor or simile. Yeah, metaphor. Good job, you guys. Everyone got it. The bed is a fluffy cloud is a simile or metaphor. Y'all are fast. Good.
Let's not do that.
Why am I study going down, but I study getting it right?
You
though?
gotta go fast.
Yeah, go
I
back.
can't. My thing's glitching every time I try to click.
Room 7, kids are monkeys is a simile or metaphor.
Okay, there we go.
I'm trying to get this first place.
Not gonna happen.
Put me in that first place, baby.
Not gonna happen.
Alright.
Not gonna
Okay,
happen.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Wow.
Bro, alright. I'm gonna click even
I'm
faster.
behind
Simile
this man.
and metaphors are tools from the
Oh.
figure skating toolbox, FaceTime toolbox,
Oh.
figurative language toolbox, or feeling lucky toolbox.
I don't even know this.
No, really, first one.
Well, do you think similes and metaphors are
I
about
think I
figure
clicked the
skating,
wrong one.
FaceTiming, feeling lucky, or figurative language?
I was scooting this way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wait,
similes
how
and
am I in
metaphors
sixth
are
place, but I got it
figurative
right?
language.
I got 10
Because
right. Oh,
Yeah,
got every
yeah.
single one of them Jones right.
Good job,
Second
whoever
place.
you guys are.
Second place.
Who is who? Are you the Flash?
I'm low key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm green.
Well, good job, you guys. We're gonna do another Kahoot, and this one is a little trickier because you have to apply. You have to say like what's being compared.
Oh, no, you're going.
It's a little
How
trickier,
about we
but
not?
y'all have got it.
Awesome effort.
She said, yeah.
We should do Kahoot the whole hour.
How about this?
Yeah, no, we should do Kahoot the whole hour because I'm not trying to do nothing else.
Well, we were gonna do 4 things today, but because of the fire drill yesterday, we only doing 3.
Just one? You should knock down
Fire
2.
drill.
What if I don't have to do anything?
Because we want to
Because
keep
the
you guys
hour
on
got
track
shorter.
with third
He said
hour.
he had one, he just don't know where that
Man, the fire drill made me so mad. It was so annoying.
That wasn't a drill, that was.
Oh yeah, that
it
was
Yeah,
actually
I know.
like a real fire.
Yeah, I know.
Did you guys hear the story about
I
Mr.
heard somebody
Epic?
pulled it. Somebody.
I don't
I'm
know what
changing my
happened.
name, bro, because that's. I gotta put my name.
That clean got written up yesterday.
Oops.
What?
Parking it, he's in the fire lane.
Oh, oops.
He's still parked there after he got written up.
Who invited Donald Trump?
Who put Donald Trump? I'm not even
Who
gonna
put
play.
Wreck-It
You
Ralph?
guys do the
I'm not
funniest
gonna play
name.
because I hate Donald Trump, bro.
I
Who
love
invited
it.
Wreck-It
You
Ralph?
love Donald.
No, I love the funny name. You can
Oh.
compete.
Do not disrespect my man Donald Trump.
Oh, you like.
Who
You
like-
like-
Who
you
entered
like
as
Donald
Wreck-It
Trump.
Ralph?
Oh my gosh.
Who in the right mind would like Donald Trump?
Another question, who invited Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph.
I'm fine with Wreck-It Ralph,
Yeah,
but Donald
cool,
Trump.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm gonna let y'all win this one.
Really?
you Wreck-It Ralph?
No, Deshaun's Deshaun.
Oh, of course.
Who's Rapunzel?
I didn't put my. I didn't go in yet.
Johnny.
I might not play.
Johnny's Johnny.
No, Johnny's Johnny.
I'm Johnny with a
Johnny Horse. I had a friend in college, and we called him Johnny Rocket.
Look at him, he quiet over
His
there.
real name was Tristan.
Evan, that is you because
That's
you
the
were
only
like.
one that's not the same as last time.
How y'all know it's not
That's a
me?
good one.
How y'all know it's not me?
Because
Who,
Ben
Wreck-It Ralph? Who are you? Are you Wreck-It Ralph?
No, I'm not in yet.
Oh, we got in.
Because Evan was the 3 lightning bolts and now he's.
Oh, no.
he's switched
Okay,
to-
okay, that's enough.
Oh, yeah.
I can't make it.
I think you're right. I
Okay,
think
no,
it's
man.
Evan.
Okay.
All right, we got everybody in? Let's do it. Are you ready?
No.
Yeah. Her smile is as bright as a light bulb. Is it a simile
Oh, okay.
or a metaphor? Yeah, it's a
Who over
simile.
second
That
place?
word
Oh,
as shows us that it is a
No L.
simile.
Who's Rapunzel?
Or
Okay, Rapunzel, you going down?
The snow is a white blanket covering the city. Is it a simile or a metaphor?
Oh wait, I got that wrong. Oh,
No, you're
No.
good. It is a metaphor. It's a direct comparison. Life is a roller coaster with many ups and downs. Is it a simile or a metaphor? Yeah, it's a metaphor. Good job, you guys.
Bull.
I was just in second place. How am I in fourth
My
place?
puppy is
Very
as sweet as candy. Simile or metaphor?
I keep getting it right, but I'm in fourth place.
Good job, you guys.
What?
So no.
No.
Yeah. It,
Johnny, get the heck out of here.
ass.
Who got that wrong?
Heck out of here.
The boys' room was a disaster area. What two things are being compared? The boys' room was a disaster area. What is being compared?
Oh, I'm just guessing at this point.
I don't even know.
wrong.
Oh no, I
No.
Oh. All right, you guys.
No.
So the boys' room was a disaster area.
That's what I thought.
They're comparing the room to a disaster
We get
area.
I thought it was the boy and his room.
No.
Oh, I'm only behind someone.
Her long hair was a flowing golden river. What two things are being compared?
No.
Her long hair was a flowing golden river.
Wait, no.
Yeah, so they're
How am I
comparing
fifth
her
place now?
hair to a golden river. He was as happy as a kid in a candy store. Simile or metaphor?
Good. We're back on.
Oh my, I'm gonna punch this face.
I hate this.
Yeah, we'll be
If I
done
get in
in like
2nd place,
2
like,
seconds,
I'm
kiddo.
smacking this thing because I've been getting it right.
You're good, Keisha.
You won't. No balls.
You're right. I don't have to.
Yeah, great job, you guys.
I'm
It's
on
a
7th place now.
simile.
No, this thing is really irritating.
You're in fourth place?
No, 7th.
My mom is as smart as Einstein. Simile or metaphor?
No. Come on.
There you go, bro.
You guys are so expressive this morning.
Because like this thing is
Yeah,
happening.
it's a simile. Good job.
We know.
Who got that wrong?
I don't know.
The ballerina was a swan gliding across the stage.
Alright.
Simile or metaphor?
Oh.
Yeah, good job, you guys. It's a metaphor.
Hey, I think that's pretty good.
Caden was a pig at dinner.
Hey,
I don't know. He was a pig. Simile or
No.
metaphor? Oh, no.
Ah.
Oh, son of a.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
It's a metaphor.
I'm
It's a
mad.
direct comparison of Caden and a pig.
Hey, don't be nice.
My sister is a clown and always making us laugh. What two things are being compared? Our laughing clowns, my sister and a clown, my sister and our laugh.
Please, let me get this one right, because
I hope it makes it.
I love that one.
Yeah, my sister and a clown.
But now I'm only in 8th place. This is like irritating. I quit.
Wow.
I'm
Good
just
job.
playing.
This is last one, Keisha. The lake water was like glass, smooth and serene, and not a wave in sight. Metaphor or simile?
Oh my, come on. I'm gonna mess this thing up.
Come on.
Whoa.
I'm so bad. I got it wrong. I got it right, I meant.
The lake
But still.
water
What's
was
like?
like glass. That word
How did
like
I
shows
have
us
so
that
much
it
good?
is a simile.
No, I hate this thing. I hate this thing.
Good job, Johnny.
I'm all this so wrong.
Way to go, you
I got
guys.
like 3 wrong.
All right, friendos.
got that wrong on the last one, but everything else I got right.
How did I hate exactly?
Whatever you say.
That's what I'm saying. And I was in 2nd place. It took me all the way from 2nd place to 5th place.
Took me all the way from
All right,
fifth place down
guys. I will take your iPads in exchange
No.
for chapter 10.
Or I
Chapter
go to,
nine.
no, I feel like
We read chapter 9 on Tuesday. Remember I wrote all
Oh,
the
they
things
really so
together?
bad.
I was at a training.
Yep,
Oh,
we
yesterday?
did chapter 10 and you're writing.
There it is.
There.
Yesterday we didn't even play it, but
Right.
don't even worry about it.
Oh, it's just one page. Then I gotta go to
It's
math.
awesome, Jenny.
Ugh, I don't want to.
Graduation gown.
you had mine.
Because the back of the shirt made me think of that.
She's not wearing graduation gown. Don't wear that in graduation. It's a mock shirt.
You're missing 2 pages.
Yeah. Amaya and Evan, would you guys mind sharing? And Keisha and Johnny, would you guys mind sharing?
Johnny doesn't have
I think I left the page down there.
I can share with someone.
That's all right. That works. Thank you, girls. I appreciate it.
You guys
Oh, and then Johnny.
What's right? Those are extras that you got.
No, it was on your desk. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right, guys, we're gonna do chapter 10, and then we're just gonna discuss. Guys, can you get your phones away, please? We're gonna read chapter 10 and then discuss the comprehension questions, and we'll do a different writing activity.
Writing?
Yeah.
No, I thought you said one thing I might thought. That's
I know.
both
No, we did Kahoot, we did reading and writing.
We did 2 Kahoots.
We did 2 Kahoots.
Okay. With the technicals.
No, yeah. I'm no.
All right, guys, we're at the top of 78 for chapter 10. Are we ready? Can we get ready? Thank you, guys. To anyone except an experienced whaling man, no whale or any sign of fish at all was to be seen. Nothing but the slow rise and fall of some white water. Suddenly, the air all around us seemed to move and shake. The whales were swimming around just a little below the surface. All 4 boats followed them at once. Yet, as fast as the boats moved, the white water moved ahead of them. It seemed to fly onto the distance. So, they mentioned this white water. What's causing the white water? The whales, yeah, the whales are swimming just below the surface, and they are creating waves. Right, Jordan?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Pull, pull, my good boys, said Starbuck to his crew in his usual quiet voice. Sing out and say something, said the more cheerful Flask. Pull, my friends, put me up on their black backs. Only do that for me, and I'll sign over to you everything I own, even my wife and home. He pulled his hat from his head, threw it down in the boat, jumped on it, then picking it up, threw it wildly out into the sea. So remember, that Officer Flask, really enjoys hunting whales.
I'm surprised he said, take my wife and children.
I know, that's how enthusiastic he is about it.
No, he said that.
Isn't that kind of a little much there?
Take my wife and children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
Yeah, he's very enthusiastic about catching these
I
whales.
was like, you I got it.
Keep an eye on him.
Look at that fellow Flask, said Stubb in his boat. His pipe still in his mouth. He's gone right out of his mind. Look at him, jumping up and down. But we're the ones who will get there first. Pull, my children, pull, my little ones. Softly, steadily, but pull and keep pulling until you break your hearts and backs. Pull now. So does it sound like it's easy for them to catch up with the whales?
No.
No, they're working pretty hard here. Yeah. What Ahab said to his yellow crew, no one knew. But his boat, like the others, tore on. The sea now rose and fell around us. A storm was coming up, and giant waves began to break against the boats, throwing us all from side to side. The cries of the men in the other boats could still be heard, but less clearly. The noise was frightening. It was also growing dark, since night was coming on. The high spouts of the whales, however, could still be seen easily, and there seemed to be whales everywhere. The boats were being pulled in different directions. Starbucks followed 3 whales running dead to the east. Our sail had been set, and with the wind of the storm rising, we flew along so fast that it was almost impossible to work the oars on one side. Hurry, men, pull, cried Starbuck. There is still time to kill a fish before the storm strikes. There's white water just ahead. Pull! Two loud cries on each side of us now told us that the two other boats had got fast to a whale, but almost at the same moment, Starbuck cried out again, "Stand up!" And Queequeg jumped to his feet, his harpoon raised high above his head. "That's his back! There, give it to him!" cried Starbuck. A short, sharp sound flew out from the boat. It was the harpoon of Queequeg. Then, all in one awful moment, came a strong push from the back of the boat, while the front seemed to strike against some great stone. The giant body of the whale rolled under us. We were on top of him, and with a quick turn of his tail, he had also struck us from behind. The sail fell. The whole crew, to a man, was thrown bodily into the sea. Storm, whale, and harpoon seemed for the moment to be each a part of the other. Then the whale, struck only lightly by the harpoon, swam away. The boat was not broken and remained floating, though it was half filled with water. We all swam around picking up oars, which had also been thrown into the sea. Then one by one, we made our way back to the boat and climbed in. The water in the boat as we sat there covered a good part of our legs. So what just happened there, guys?
Something crazy.
Something crazy, yeah. They all ended up in the water. How did that happen?
The
A
whales.
sea road.
What fights?
The
The
whale.
whale, yeah. They tried to get the whale, but the whale got up under the boat.
They're talking about Moby Dick, right?
No, it's a different whale. Because remember in chapter 9, Captain Ahab decided that even though he really wants to get Moby Dick, he knows the crew will get mad if they don't hunt other whales. So here they are trying to hunt other whales, and already something terrible has happened. Their boat is broken. All right, we're at the bottom of page 79. The wind was increasing. The whole storm suddenly seemed to break around us. The waves struck at the boat ever more savagely than before. We tried to call to the other boats, but the noise was too great. Meanwhile, the sky had grown almost completely dark as night came on. No sign of the Pequod, which had been following us some distance behind, could be seen. Flip the page. The heavy seas made it impossible to clear the boat since water came in as fast as we could get it out. The oars could not be used because the waves were too high. Starbuck, after trying several times, was at last successful in lighting the lantern. Putting this on top of the mast, he handed it to Queequeg, who stepped, holding it up, this sad-looking thing in the heart of the black storm. So, they're still in the little whaling boat, and that section of the crew can't seem to find the Pequod, which doesn't seem like a great idea.
Insane.
Yeah. Hours passed, and at last the first light of morning came. We sat wet and shaking with the cold. The lantern lay broken on the floor of the boat. Suddenly, Queequeg started up, holding his hand to his ear. We all listened and heard a light sound of ropes, sails, and masts moving in the wind. The sound came nearer, and soon as we stood up to see the Pequod above us, bearing down upon our small boat like some great animal. Frightened, we all jumped into the water just as the Pequod struck, breaking our boat into 100 pieces. We swam about, holding on to oars or whatever else floated near us in the water. But happily, we were soon seen by those on the ship, picked up, and all landed on board. When the storm broke the night before, the other boats had cut themselves loose from their fish and returned to the ship without difficulty. Only our boat had been lost. The ship had looked for us for hours and finally given up. It was sailing about now, only hoping to find some last sign of us, an oar perhaps, or a broken spear. So the rest of the crew managed to get back to the Pequod, and they thought that Starbuck, Ishmael, and Queequeg, the guys on Starbuck's whaling boat, had been lost to the storm. Pretty scary. So,
Story I've ever read.
yeah, pretty quick chapter, huh?
Surprised it was a short chapter.
So at the beginning of this chapter, they talked about that only experienced whaling men would have known there were whales in the water. Why do you think that is?
Do you read that?
At the beginning of the chapter, they talked about only experienced whaling men being able to see the whales. Why do you think that is?
Oh, because they got like the new recruits on there. So, like, how, what's his name? Like,
Starbuck?
never been whaling before.
Oh,
Sure,
Ishmael?
sure.
Yeah.
Ishmael has never been whaling, so like he doesn't know what's going on, but like,
Right,
Always
but the
surprised.
experienced guys do.
yeah.
Why do you
Yes.
think the experienced guys can see the whales?
Because
They
they're
see the whales.
because
Johnny, what
they've
do you
been doing
think?
it for a while.
Whales and sharks have an interesting camouflage. They're dark on the top, and then their bellies are light. An experienced whaler would be able to look for the shape
Yeah,
of the whale.
I think you're exactly right, Johnny. The backs of the whales were a dark black color, so under the surface of the water, to an inexperienced sailor or someone like us, it probably just looks like dark water. But to an experienced whaler, they'd probably notice the outline of the whale. Good idea, Johnny. Thank you.
That's
So then, what were the officers trying to make their men do, their crews do? They kept saying, "Pull, my children, pull."
Take my wife.
Yeah, they were rowing too slow. They were trying to excite them into rowing faster, inspire them to work harder and catch up to the whales. So then, after they caught up to the whales, the weather started to change, right?
yeah.
What was happening?
Oh, Mother Nature, obviously.
Mother Nature was happening, yeah. Well, like, describe it. Like,
Got a storm coming?
a storm was coming, so the sky got darker, the waves got bigger. So when that storm came, what happened to Starbucks boat?
Oh, that's when they, did it, right?
Yeah, yeah. They got hit by a whale and their boat filled with water. Good. But in the end, they finally found the Pequod. I'm excited to see what happens in chapter 11. I don't think Starbuck is going to be very pleased.
You feel, I'm trying to get this book finished. I'm trying not to.
We're almost done, guys. I think there's only
very
a
close.
couple chapters.
Nine more
It
chapters?
goes to chapter
What's the ending chapter?
19.
Oh, okay, so I thought we
So we have 9 more left.
And we're over halfway.
We
The
might
next
be
week
able
we'll
to
have
fin-
to do assessments.
We might finish this book until the end of the month, and we might see it in May.
That's a good possibility.
Yeah,
I'm not-
sounds like a good plan. So for our writing assignment today, we are gonna do a 3, 2, 1 prompt. So I'd like you guys to identify 3 details from the story. So 3 things that happened. Create 2 similes or 2 metaphors about the storm, and then make 1 prediction about what will happen next. And you've got the rest of the hour to finish it up. And I can help you if you need help. You're welcome. You're very welcome.
I'm sorry about that.
Do I dare have to write?
Yes.
You sure do.
If we have to write, you have to write. Yes.
Do I dare? Oh, that would be not cool.